All right, Jess. So you jumped an 8-foot fence. Tell me about it.
My boyfriend at the time in Chicago for our marathon forced me to jump this fence so that I could join the shakeout run with you guys and VPN. So had to go over my fear of heights for that one, and we had the entire street cheering me on to do so. So that was how we started the shakeout run.
Really? People were cheering you on?
Yeah, on the road. It was so embarrassing. That was a crazy moment of the weekend, that's for sure.
Nice. And
I
that, oh, go ahead.
Floberg playing that shakeout on Queen's Landing, and it was like I don't know why he didn't think this through, because he's raced Chicago like 7 times now, but the all of Grant Park was closed, and you had to go like a mile around it to get
Yeah,
to Queen's Landing, which all of us did. Luckily, I was on a bird, like a bike, like an e-bike, and so I was able to get around it.
yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say when we were going, I was like, how are people getting to this? Like it was insane. But that was definitely the best shakeout run I've ever done. Like that was so beautiful. I've never
yeah,
That was my first time in Chicago also. So running on the water, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like nothing close to Philly whatsoever. So having that path was that was amazing.
I'll tell you what though. I watched some videos from the Philly Marathon this past weekend. It's
Hmm.
crazy. It's a really good turnout.
Yeah, I think over the last 2 years, it's really gotten a lot bigger. But this past year, especially, well, Endorphins is taking over. Do you guys know Endorphins?
I've heard of it.
It's a
Endorphins
huge
Run
run
Club.
club. Yeah, they're in New York. They have a really mass following that's growing in Philly. So they've gotten so many people into the marathon, and just the community they're building here is definitely the fastest growing in Philly. And I definitely think there's not a huge community already in Philly, so they're kind of the only ones doing it. But yeah, the marathon was crazy. I unfortunately wasn't there. Neither of us, Justin or I, were there this weekend, but it was crazy.
I wanted to talk about why you maybe weren't there. So what were you doing this past weekend? You were in Dallas, right?
Yes, I was in Dallas for Hyrox. I was only supporting, but I supported Nick Bear, the BPN team. There was a few of them that competed. It was an insane race. I'll say that. It was really, really fun. And actually, a year ago, Dallas was the first Hyrox I ever did. So it was really cool to go back a year later. Definitely wish I competed, but that's okay. It was crazy.
Do you got one like planned in the near future?
So I'm gonna do DC, which is in March. I'm doing doubles there, and I'm debating right now doing a solo one in Houston, which is the beginning of March. So we'll see. I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm thinking about it.
I'm curious, like, have you ever hung out with the BPN team like to that extent? Like, I'm assuming you guys were all in the same house and stuff. Is
Yeah.
that the first time doing that?
So actually, I've been with BPN for probably around 3 years now.
Oh,
So
Oh,
I've
wow.
gotten, yeah, it's been awesome. I've gotten pretty close to a lot of them, but this was the first time I feel like it was a real like intimate setting, I would say. So definitely hang out with Nick a little bit more, and that whole group was really cool. And then Lucy Davis was there, who I mean,
he's a
she's a
freaking beast.
yeah. She put me through a workout on Friday when we got there, and I fully died, but it was awesome. But watching her do her thing, I was like no wonder obviously she won the world record. I mean it was insane.
Did
So
she win in Dallas?
no, she won in Manchester. So she's from the UK, but she got the women's open record. So she's crazy.
I
In
saw, I
every good way.
saw, I saw a video. Tony Reyes was like imitating her accent, and I was like, and we just had Tony on. He's awesome. But
Let's do that.
oh yeah. But I was like, is he doing Australian or a British accent? But now confirmed as British. So
Yeah.
good to know.
It's great. It's so funny. But yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I want to know. I want some dirt on Mr. Rubin. What's it like living with him?
That's really funny. That's a funny question. It's really good. Justin's absolutely incredible, and I have amazing things to say about him. I will say, the shoe collection that he has is ridiculous. And the worst part is there's just like this growing pile of shoes, and our dog Bentley loves shoes. So she just takes them around the house everywhere. So Justin's shoes are just like in the bedroom, on the bed, like in the kitchen, whatever. But it's really good. And the fact that he brought us a home gym is also really awesome. So I'm sure you guys have seen our basement is a gym. So it's
Dude,
very convenient.
your workouts that I don't know who's facilitating the group workouts. It's like
Yeah.
blaring music, and there's like 8 people in a space that is like maxed out.
Yeah.
But like everyone is like, there's just like the floor has puddles on it. It's the
Yeah.
craziest thing. Like he doesn't even like post it. It's just like a camera set up somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'll just like watch the whole thing. And I'm just like analyzing everything. If you rewatch it, you like see something different every time. It's crazy.
It's insane. That's every Friday morning, and it's funny because I'll come home from coaching at like 8 a.m. and I open the door and I just get hit by this like
Must.
wave of like this hot air. I'm like, all right, here we go. Yeah, that they get after it down there. He has a solid like really go getter group every Friday morning, and they throw down. That's for sure.
It looks a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Justin kicks all of our asses.
Yeah, the videos are entertaining. That's like a content factory you have in your basement. It's pretty ideal for making content because like in the gym, it's like I'd feel a little uncomfortable filming in like a public gym. So like yeah, having that in your basement's like ideal because you guys are both creating content too. So pretty ideal.
We're both working on it, I would say. It's definitely a work in progress, but I agree it's a lot easier to do it in your home than, go to some big commercial gym and try and take a video.
I love everybody's. This is like totally off topic, change of subject, but everybody's BPN story, like how they got started with BPN. We've had, shoot, you might be our 15th BPN athlete we've had on or something.
Oh my God,
10th?
that's awesome.
I like to over exaggerate. Strig just shook his head.
Maybe eight, maybe eight.
8? Okay, whatever. How did you get started? Like,
Yeah.
how did you get connected with them?
So, I mean, I think I've been following Nick Bear for like a really, really long time. So right when he kind of started is when I found him, and it was 3 years ago that I didn't think I would be accepted at all, but I shot my shot, put my application in for their ambassador program, which was, yeah, roughly 3 years ago. And I got accepted, and I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And that's how I started. And then we had this like monthly call. So you really got to see probably around like 100, 150 people across the US on a monthly basis. And then in that April of that year, they had an ambassador weekend. So they had everyone out at HQ. Like it was like, I don't know, it was such a great weekend filled with like all of these people obviously getting after it, like the type of people that BPN draws in. There's just this incredible community. And fast forward, I guess, a year after that, a year and a half, is when I signed as like an official athlete. But they're just like such a great group of people. I feel like whenever I go there or talk to them, they're like truly like family. And the branding they have is like no other. And not only that, but that's actually how Justin and I met, is through the ambassador program. So there's so many ties to it all, but they're just such a great, like supportive, inspirational group of people. I mean, you guys see it, I'm sure, all over social media. So I'm definitely super grateful to be a part of that.
Have you been able to meet Sally McRae at all?
No, and she was supposed to come this weekend and she couldn't make it. So I'm honestly, I'm dying to meet Sally. I would talk her ear off, I'm sure, for the entire weekend, but that's my goal for sure.
We were talking about Tony about this to Tony. BPN's so successful because they're really good at producing content, like the storytelling side of it. And yeah, I guess like they just really invested in their media team and then just got the right people right athletes to like kind of tell their stories. And the cool thing too is like they're, someone like Eric Floberg, he's like full on runner, right? But then you have like hybrid athletes, and then you have people that are like straight up power lifters too. So they're kind of like hitting all the markets right now, which is awesome to see. And Hyrox is like, like right, like perfectly fits into their mold, because like it is 5 miles of running, but then you also have to be like pretty good at lifting as well. So it's a very cool new like niche sport that's coming up for sure.
No, 100%. And it was cool this past weekend to just see how many BPN people were out on the course. Like everyone has a hat on, like everyone was stopping all the athletes. Like BPN has like infiltrated, I feel like everything, which is really cool to see. I mean, and it's like not even in just Texas. I mean, I know in the Chicago Marathon, all I'm seeing was like BPN gels all over the course. And like same thing in Philly, honestly. They're doing really, really, really well.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I was curious because I was seeing some content from the Dallas Hyrox. Do they do some of the running indoors, or do they go outside to do the run?
For the actual race, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for the actual race, like the 1K repeats.
So it's usually inside. It was inside for Dallas. I think the only exception they made maybe a year or two ago was Miami, where they had people run outside. And then in New York last year, they had it on the pier outside. So that one, it was really freaking hot that day. And that also sucks because that makes it really hard. I remember people at like noon versus like 6 p.m. Obviously, you're going out in like the blistering heat as opposed to at least like the sun's going down. So yeah, they have a few that are kind of like outdoors like that, but majority of them are all inside, including Dallas.
How often are these? Is there like a season for Hyrox, or is it just like every 2 weeks for like every all year?
I feel like it's nonstop. Yeah, I don't think they do it like intentionally by any sort of season, but I will say they typically have the World Championship right around like May to June timeframe. So if you wanted to qualify, you'd obviously have to do it before then. But yeah, I feel like they're kind of like in every major city possible across the world.
Kind of gives me like Iron Man vibes.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's more accessible and cheaper than Ironman. So I feel like that's why they are doing such a good job with it.
Would you say that's like your main focus right now is Hyrox, or are you also like just as focused on running?
Yeah, actually, I feel like Hyrax probably isn't my major focus, to be honest. So Chicago, I was hoping to do or qualify for Boston. I didn't do that. So I'm hoping to do that next year. So I'm prepping with the Hyrox double race, while also planning to do Grandma's Marathon. If you guys, I don't know if you guys have done it.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard of it, but I've done it. Vice versa.
So yeah.
Vice versa. I've heard of it, haven't done it. That's what I meant.
I've done it. It's a great race.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
I've only heard amazing things, so I'm really excited. That's gonna be a BPN race, so Nick's gonna run it too. A lot of us are all gonna run it. But I'm hoping to qualify for Boston with that, and then I'm hoping to do another 100-miler next year. So that's gonna be hopefully in the fall. So I'm kind of like gonna try and focus on speed the next few months, and then hopefully that'll flow into a longer ultra prep.
Well, so your goal was a BQ at Chicago.
Yeah.
And we talked to Justin about this similar thing. You all basically sabotaged yourself before Chicago and made it absolutely as hard as possible to BQ. Yeah. You did. You personally did 50 miles on the Rocky Steps, right?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah, just a casual 3 weeks before Chicago. I don't know if I'd be able to even be able to run by that point. And you all both went what? You went 3:30 and he went sub 3. That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. Definitely not the most ideal prep. I would say from learning from last year, I really think I need to strategically plan out preps a little bit better. So I ran 100 last July.
I'll stay.
July, yeah. And that ultra prep just kind of murdered me, to be totally honest with you. Like just like the wear and tear of it all, and then trying to get back my speed was probably the hardest thing I've tried to do last year, or not last year, this past year. Wow. And then we did, just some fun stuff along the way, and definitely wasn't ideal, but I'm still really happy with what I did in Chicago. I'm ready to kind of like, all right, let's try and BQ.
Was Chicago your first BQ attempt, or had you attempted before?
No, Justin and I actually tried to do it in New York City last year, and that was the dumbest thing we've done too.
It's another hard race.
Wait, say more.
I know.
Say more.
We really I don't know what we were thinking looking back and just knowing the course, but I guess we really had a lot of confidence in ourselves. But yeah, we both were on track. I think he blew up around mile 20, and for me it might have been mile 15 in New York, but my quads just like blew up. So that was my first attempt, and then Chicago was my second.
Do you guys use a Cunningham? Like, I know he coaches a lot of the BPN people, or do you guys just coach yourself for running?
So I actually I don't use Cunningham. I've worked with Joe Rinaldi for the last 2 years. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He
sounds super familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a huge community called Project Endure.
Oh yeah, okay, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like really big in Philly too. And then so he prepped me through all of those races, and then I just transitioned to Justin as my coach 2 weeks ago. So
2 weeks ago.
How's it going?
Kind of hate my life every morning.
Scotty just told this story a couple episodes ago of him trying to coach his wife for her marathon. She just ran Indy 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And let me tell you, Jess, if you can get like the couple partner coaching situation to work, I will be very impressed. I'll be more impressed than I would be if you BQ'd.
No,
honestly,
yeah.
Accurate, Danny.
I did coach my wife to a BQ. I'll just say, but
that's fair. That's fair.
I will say, and I think Scotty was smart having Mike coach his wife. It is really hard to because there's some days she cut the run short or she didn't feel like it or whatever. Yeah. And those days, as the husband, I'm it's okay. Just do whatever you feel like. But but then if there was a coach, it'd be nah, you probably should have done it, Yeah. So yeah, that would help. Luckily it paid off. She's running Boston, but yeah, it's you're right. I mean, maybe more beneficial for her to have a coach. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just know from my relationship with my wife, it's that's not happening. No way.
No way. Yeah.
Honestly, if y'all can make that work, more power to you.
I'd be impressed. I'm just saying.
I bet you can. But Justin's a hard ass. I mean, he's no joke.
He's a hard ass. But I also think I need someone to really call out my bullshit and keep me going. And I will say he's really good at that. He knows me better than anyone else, and sometimes he knows when to kind of back off a little bit and when to be all right, Jess, get your shit together and go get it done, and I'm you're right. So it has its perks, but yeah, we're a few weeks in, so I'll have to update you guys in a couple months
before grandma's, which is in what, June?
Yeah.
It's a long way away.
Yeah, it is.
She'll be coached by Cunningham in 3 months. Prove me wrong.
We'll see how it goes.
I gotta know, were you more sore 50 miles Rocky Steps or after the 100-miler?
Oh, definitely the 100. To be honest with you, I was not that bad after the 50. I think it was just because I took it super chill. I know I had so much more in me. But it got to a point also where it was just so mundane. Obviously, you're climbing steps for 24 hours. So it was really hard, to be honest. That was the hardest thing I've done to find motivation to push it. So I really kind of took it at a chill effort. So I honestly wasn't too bad. But the 100, I was pretty messed up.
Which 100-miler was it?
So it was a local one. It wasn't a huge one, but it was upstate PA on the border of New York. So
That was
it
sick.
was, it was unsupported, it was unsupported. So you had to bring your own crew. So there was not any aid stations, like none of that. So I had like my guys like fully camping out and then driving a truck around the course to come find me. Yeah, it was
So they like created their own aid stations.
exactly. And it was honestly it was really nice because like a lot of the other runners were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." So they helped out a lot of other runners too, which was great. But yeah, next 100 I'm definitely gonna get one that has aid stations. I learned the hard lesson with that.
Do you know who Andy Glaze is?
Yes.
We had him on.
Really?
Easily the funniest podcast we've done.
Oh my god, I
Um,
have to listen to
he
that.
he, he does all those unsupported.
Does he really?
He has no crew. He does Moab with no crew
Oh my god.
He almost
by
died.
himself.
He almost died at Moab though. I'll throw that in.
He
I
did.
thought I did see that, yeah. What happened to him again? I forget.
Like extreme like heat stroke, like
Yeah.
just like he had he was 230 miles in. And he had to drop out.
That's terrible. I can't even imagine walking out at that point.
He's an EMT, and he was like, I mean, he runs more than anybody I know, and he was like,
Yeah.
I can't. If I keep going, he was like, if I get stranded and pass out, I'm gonna die. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm honestly surprised.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if that was me and I'm 230 miles in, I'm like, I am not stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't he runs like 100 miles a week every week, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. He's like 240 weeks in.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah, I mean he's a savage, but I did hear that and I was like, oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, the
It's
crazy
crazy.
thing is he's running 11 minute miles on average too, so the amount of time it takes a week is just like, yeah, it's insane.
How many hours a week
Wow.
is that?
Twen-
Too much.
28.
Bro?
I was just throwing a number out.
That was really good.
No, I have no idea. Well, we're just kind of bouncing different races and stuff. I want to know, like, when did you start, like, cause Justin, like, his background was like football, right? So
Yeah.
what was your like background before you like or got into running and like Hyrox fitness stuff like that? Were you athletic in like high school, college, or what?
Yeah. So I had an older brother growing up, so I feel like I think I might have froze.
No, you're good.
Can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I grew up with an older brother who played football, and like him and I feel like he taught me everything as it relates to just like lifting in general. So I feel like that's kind of where I started, just like going to the gym, lifting, and I loved that. And then I slowly got into volleyball was like my main sport. I played that, would travel all around for that. But I went to Penn State, and unfortunately, I got to Penn State. If you guys know volleyball at all, they're number one in the U.S. and the girls are like 6'2" and above. And
I thought Nebraska was like sick of volleyball.
Nebraska's really good too. Penn State's, I don't know how well Penn State's doing now, but I know they used to be like number one, which was, I mean, they're crazy.
So you played volleyball at Tennessee?
No, I didn't play volleyball in
sorry.
college. I wish I did, but I don't have the height like those girls do.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like my sport for a while growing up. And then once I got to college, that's when I got into running. And I had no idea what the hell I was doing or like how to progress necessarily. But I kind of just got really obsessed with like going a little bit further and like testing distance. So I ran my first half at Penn State, and then COVID happened. And so I kind of just started like logging crazy hours just running. And I knew after that half that I really wanted to run a marathon. But at the time, obviously, nothing was really open like race wise because of COVID. So I just kept at it. And then I ran my first marathon, which was Philly, 3 years ago. So after that, I just got extremely obsessed. And it's cool because the whole running thing and why I love it so much is that there's always room for improvement, either like speed, distance, it doesn't matter. Like you can still have so much fun with it and go all these different ways about it. So I think that's definitely a huge draw to me. And not only that, I just, especially now, I'm realizing there's actually a way to get better, which I didn't realize for the longest time. Like I would just go out and just run and I was like, oh, this is really fun. Like, I just love being outside and moving, but being intentional and seeing the progress has been like really, really, really rewarding over the last couple of years too.
Did you run Philly in 2022?
Was it 2020? I think it was 2021 I ran.
2021. I ran it in 2022, and I'm still convinced. I've run probably 6 marathons since then, and I'm still convinced that the Philadelphia Marathon is like my top 2 favorite marathons. Like,
really?
Such a good race. Yeah. It's like, and it's not because the course, in particular. I mean, although the course is sweet, you like go out in that last, like 10 miles to Maniac and back. And correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but
you're
Maniac.
Right,
and yeah, everyone in Philly listening to this is absolutely cringing right now. But I love the race.
Shout out Willie from Philly.
Shout out Willie from Philly and Alex from Philly and Justin from Philly, our 3 biggest Philly fans.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a great race. It's like a ton of people, plenty of crowd support. It's hilly. Yeah, I'll give you that. But if you look at the average gain in marathons, it's really not that different from like a Carmel Marathon, which is a really popular one here in the Midwest. So it's, great race, great time of year.
No, it's great. And also I feel like that energy, honestly, it's pretty crazy. Like it's like Philly energy, like everyone's like screaming their heads off. Everyone's outside. The year I did it, it was 25 degrees and like freezing and windy as hell. So that took away some of the crowd, but it was still like, it was really fun. I will say that.
How many people can we sleep in your apartment if we all come and run Philly?
We got plenty of room. We have a whole house. You guys are obviously more than welcome.
I got dibs on the bench.
Like, it's not an apartment. I don't know why I thought it was an apartment. It's a house.
Got the whole basement.
Jess, I don't know if Justin updated you. So we were texting him because our buddy Wyatt Moss was trying to get into Philadelphia Marathon, and Justin was kind of reaching out to see if he had any contacts, and he sent us the race director's info. But I don't know if you got updated on the results of that, but some like hot dog company that sponsors the race like got him in.
Dietz and Watson.
Oh my God! Wait, I had no idea. So I saw Wyatt's pictures. I didn't even realize that Justin helped.
That's the guy. Justin helped the hot dog guy.
Oh my God! Well, I met Wyatt at the Shakeout Run.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Such a great person. Like he said that he slept in one airport right before his second marathon in one weekend. I was like, that's insane.
He slept in a porta potty at the start line for a marathon
in like North Dakota or something.
He showed up like in the middle of the night, didn't have a place to stay. I don't know why he didn't stay in the car. Maybe he flew, and I think he flew. And he stayed in the porta potty, and he said it was like miserably cold too.
Speaking of influencers, I gotta ask: has the Hyrox community canceled Matt Choi yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
I think he's found his spot.
I don't think he really got like canceled. Like he still got all his followers and stuff. I think he lost a few sponsors, but not all of them. I think he landed on his feet. So he didn't. I don't know. The bike thing is like it's annoying, but like it's not like I don't know. I wasn't like super mad at him or anything. Some people like were just looking for something to get mad at him about, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, so
but it's also not the first time it happened with him. But yeah. And we like Matt. We've had him on the pod, and every time we talked to him, he's been nothing but great, nice to us.
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've had the same experience. I know you're running with him at the shakeout, so I know you know him.
No,
But
I
I just
love
saw
him.
he was there at Dallas and was just
Yeah.
making an offhanded quip.
No, he's great. He was in Chicago, Hyrox, the
Yeah.
weekend before
Oh
as
yeah.
well. And then I saw him at Dallas too. But yeah, I feel like people still love him. I mean, he was like swarmed with people everywhere.
That's
Um,
good to hear.
I think he definitely seemed, and I love Matt, but I think he seemed a little bit more quieter than he typically is. I definitely picked up on that, but I feel like he's just trying to like feel out probably like the energy after
Yeah.
everything, you know? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he'll find that 99% of the people that he interacts with, and he interacts with a lot of people,
yeah.
are positive. And I mean, anyone in the like health and fitness space is like generally a very sane person for obvious reasons. And then, but like he does interact with a lot of people though, and like a lot of people see his stuff. So that 1% is still going to be a really big number,
Yeah.
which stinks. But I
I
mean,
feel like the like 1% that bandwagon commented on all of his stuff, just like horrible things that like
Yeah.
could have gone without. I feel like those are the types of people that like don't sign up for races anyways, and they like don't go in public. Like,
or it's like the Let's Run anonymous running forum commenter who just like lives to tear people down. You know what I mean?
he's actually like a gamer, and he's like 300 pounds, and he doesn't run at all. But he's like, this is actually really fun to make fun of runners.
It's like good in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
Terrible though. But those are like the comments I feel like that like rip people apart and like
Mhm.
people like let that get to them, you know? But it's like you're right, like they're not even in like the environment, which is just sad.
I think as society, and we see it in like patterns and waves with people who we love to build up, and then they have like the full arc of, you know, they did something wrong, and then we love to tear them down.
Yeah.
And it sucks, like that's kind of human nature, but like you see it time and time again.
hmm No, it's so sad. But
And
luckily he's built like that community that I think
yeah,
he knows like, damn, like I still got like my people, you know?
yeah.
Jess, we're trying to figure out, kind of bringing this back to Wyatt a bit. We were kind of talking to him about like social media and how to like make effective posts and stuff. And obviously, you're successful on social media. You're a BPN athlete. You have a solid following. Do you like really think about what you're posting in terms of like, when you're editing it? Are you like planning?
Yeah. So actually, if you ask any of my friends, they get super upset with me because I'll just post something right away and like not even give it like time to even think about when I know like a lot of people really take some time to, plan things out or look at it, edit it, whatever. I kind of just like think about something and just kind of do it. Which probably isn't the best thing with social media. I'm honestly really trying to get a lot better with social media. And I know people like, I mean, some people have this like whole planning calendar type of thing. And like, to me though, that seems like a little too like stressful. Like you want it to still be like fun, in my opinion. So, um, I'm not much of a planner yet, but yeah, I kind of just post off the whim of whatever I'm feeling. But I do try and keep it like really like me as far as just like, how I'm working out or what I'm doing all the time.
Yeah, I like that. And it's kind of I don't know, it keeps it more organic or raw or however you want to put it. And I'm coming to find like I really like, now that I know more about social media and how like getting close to Wyatt, like knowing the tricks of like having the good hook and like keeping the message moving forward and progressing, and I like am starting to notice those things in social media, and I'm like, okay, like I know what they're doing here, and I almost want to like not give it, swipe through it in some ways, but
Yeah.
I like the like rawness. Like Ryan Hall is a really famous runner, and his Instagram is just like his life, and
Yeah.
of course he has a lot of followers because he's super well known, but it's
Mhm.
just like him running in like Nepal,
Yeah.
just fun, keeps it fun to me.
Well, yeah. And I think like the draw for me of like going to someone's page is like, you know, seeing like the work that goes into who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I love social media, but I also hate it because I feel like a lot of people just do like here's like my highlights of my life and like that's it. And you don't really see like the realness in people sometimes. And again, this is all stuff like I'm trying to work on and think about when I'm posting too. But I think that's important because like when I'm looking at someone, I want someone to be real with me. And I've been so specific with social media over the last couple of years of who I follow and who I don't for that reason. Because I know, and I'm sure, I feel like this is so common in everyone. And the more I talk to people, just like the whole comparison thing on social media,
Yeah.
like a serious, serious issue and something I fell in for the longest time. And it's really detrimental to a lot of people, especially females who are especially younger on social media all the time. And that's something that I've been really good with drawing a boundary over in the last couple, I would say, year or two. But it's something that I really hold close to home because I do think it's definitely something people should be looking at when they're on social media.
Yeah, that's a really good message. I'm glad you said that because I know some of our listeners struggle with the same thing. I mean, I can, attest. I personally, the comparison thing on social media is real, and we all are on this roller coaster of ups and downs in the day to day, and you only see all the ups on people who you think highly of, and it's great, and you want to celebrate wins with people, but sometimes like you just got to turn it off and put it away if you find yourself in that rut. So yeah, I'm glad we're in the deep end on this. It's good.
Not only like for yourself, but also I always think of this as a dad, but raising kids. I mean, I have a 4-2 and a 1-year-old, and it seems like they're really far off from having social media, but actually they're not. Like they're like my 4-year-old was just born. I swear he was just born, and everybody tells you that. They're like, "You'll wish your kids were younger. It'll be a blink of an eye." It's like crazy true. He turns 5 in a week, and I can already see it. And also like people post their highlights on social media, so that's all you see is everybody's highlights. You never see like the raw stuff. Like, if you're posting about your kids, it's only the smiling stuff, like not the like gnarly what it's actually like. You're like, oh my gosh, they have such a perfect family. I'm like, it's just like any other family. My kids, when they get hungry or tired, they're screaming for an hour straight. So
Scotty, how old are your kids going to be when you give them like a smartphone?
Too, actually.
Dude, I like people who have it together, like our friend Cheston, like definitely knows like the exact date. Maybe he doesn't, but he just has it more put together than me. I don't know. I feel like it's going to depend on the kid. And my dad gave me a phone when I was away. Like when I started doing sports, I signed up for competitive swimming, and I was there every night for 2 or 3 hours at a time. And so like when practice was over, I would call him. But I don't know.
I think I got my phone at 13, so that's like
dude, like
grade,
times have changed though, man. You see like 9-year-olds with iPhones that are like as big as their arm. Like they're like tiny children and they have iPhones.
I'm rocking the iPhone 13 still. And
are you really?
9-year-olds have like the 15 Pro or whatever.
I don't know. I'll probably like there's so much like for like boys, there's so much that they can like see and access on their phone that I really would rather them not. That like will change the trajectory of their brain chemistry and all that kind of stuff, and social media and a lot of other stuff. And if I could wait till they're like 18, I would, but obviously they'll like not have any friends. So probably like 12, 13, 14. But I feel like that might be pushing it. I don't know.
There's like I just heard, I think I heard this. I don't think I dreamt it, but I'm going to Google it after I say it. I think Instagram is coming out with like kids accounts, like with like restrictions on them, like that parents can control. I'm going to Google this right now, but I think that's like a good step in the right direction.
That's definitely a good step. I was going to say too, I think they have like, am I wrong here? Don't they have Apple Watches and everything for like younger kids too? Like I could have sworn I saw some kid, it was like 9 probably, with like this massive Apple Watch on. I'm like, what is that for? Like what are they doing? I don't even know. Like
this is actually cool, Jess. My old neighbor, she was 9 and she had this watch. and she was over at our house playing with our kids, and she called her mom on her watch. So it's like a cellular watch. It's not a cell phone, but your parents can plug in
Oh,
like
wow.
numbers, and
Yeah.
it's a cellular watch. I think that's actually. I was like, oh wait,
That's a
I
good
can
idea.
bypass I don't. If they can just text and call, like that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
When they're like 12,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care
cool.
about
Yeah, teen accounts. Meta's rolling out teen accounts for Instagram,
Whoa.
so that's good. Let's hope.
I'm sure it'll go great.
Yeah, all right.
Dude, Scotty, are you ready, bro?
Yeah, I'm ready for Rapids because I have a hard stop at 9. The boys will keep going, but
Oh,
I
no
got
way.
my brother-in-law's in town, but we're gonna do some rapid fires. I don't know. Well, if you've listened to the podcast before, then you know what's coming.
Yes.
But I'm gonna ask you questions, and I don't think there's any too weird ones in here, so you should be all right. But just try and not elaborate if possible, unless I tell you to elaborate. Okay? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Yes. It's like she knew. She knew.
She freaking did. She's been waiting. She's been sweating. She's been sweating this question.
The question I actually remember from the podcast. You did with Justin.
They're different every time, by the way.
Is it really vanilla?
Is it really vanilla for me?
Yeah, or are you trolling? Okay, yes, one of us.
What is? I don't get it. I seriously don't get it because I ate half a pint of ice cream in the first 30 minutes of this podcast, and I have never eaten vanilla ice cream unless it's with brownies.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Team Vanilla is stacking up pretty well against the rest of the field.
It might be 50%.
It's like when Tiger was in his prime, and it was like the bet was Tiger or the field who's gonna win the Masters. It's like Vanilla is Tiger Woods. All right, onward.
It hits.
It hits.
I just don't agree, but what are your top 3 flavors of BPN protein in no particular order?
Vegan vanilla. Like,
Of course.
have that every day. Vegan chocolate. The way kind of like messed with my stomach a little bit, but I will say they had banana French toast whey. That's my third. That is so good. Sorry, I'm elaborating. Those are my 3.
You're doing great. I got the banana French toast, and I didn't love it because I make it with overnight oats, and I put like a ton of other stuff in there. My favorite with overnight oats is chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah, that one's really good. The banana French toast we made like a sludge bowl. If you guys have heard of that.
Oh, the blueberry sludge bowl.
Yeah, we kind of
Big
just
fan.
mixed it with almond milk and like almond butter. It's good.
Oh, dude, that's a Nick Bear special.
Yeah, they're good.
All right. Build your perfect pizza. Starting from the crust. Come on, give me the full thing.
I'm so plain.
She's gonna say vanilla.
Definitely not thin crust, but like, kind of like a nice thicker crust. I think it'd just be cheese, which is really boring.
No sauce?
Well, no sauce and just cheese.
Yes,
I'm like the
sauce.
most
Yes,
basic.
cheese. Okay.
Yeah.
What
No
kind
meat.
of cheese? Any cheese preference?
I'm super boring with pizza.
Just like the regular cheese.
I just can't do all like the crazy stuff, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answers.
Yeah,
We're not judging you. Full respect. Own your cheese. If you had to rename yourself, what would you choose to be your first name?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You had to. There was 0 choice.
Pick something sick, like Viking or something.
Oh God, I don't know. I'll just go. If I had a girl, her name would be Blake. So I would.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that name for a girl.
Yeah, I like that.
That would be my name.
Do penguins have knees?
No.
If you had to choose one song to sing in front of 100,000 people, what song are you choosing? But hold on, there's a catch. If you didn't get every single word right, you can't shower ever again.
That's diabolical.
What song would that be?
Don't get it wrong.
This is really, really, really hard.
My wife says sung some song by Lil Wayne.
Oh,
What's the
really?
song?
Oh, Run It
Oh,
by Chris Brown.
yes.
Have you guys heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If I was mean, I would do this to Floberg. I wouldn't do it to you, but if I was mean, I would play that song and make you sing it.
There's no way. There's no way. That was repeated a lot on the iPod Nano back in the day. So,
Nice.
Those
Yep.
were the days.
yep, stuck to memory.
What is your favorite fitness memory or achievement, or what are you most proud of? Like a moment or an event?
Definitely running 100 miles.
Great choice.
Easy answer. That would be mine
Yeah.
too. What is your favorite post lift meal?
Honestly, right now, it's so good. It's just beef, rice, avocado, beets, spinach, and then Trader Joe's. If you guys go to Trader Joe's, there's a really good hot sauce. It's the dragon sauce that's green. And it's so good. And we've been like pouring it on top of everything. That's like our meal lately. It's really, really good.
How do you cook your beets?
Honestly, I don't cook them. They're either canned or there's like a box at Trader Joe's where you just like cut them up and throw them in.
So like pickled beets?
Yeah, yeah. They're really good.
I approve. That actually sounds really good. If I was hungry, I would like go make that right now.
I had it for dinner right before this, so it was easy.
What is your daily trainer shoe?
Right now, I'm in A6, and they're pretty good. That's what I'm in right
What
Yeah.
what variety of Asics? What shoe?
now. The Nova Blast.
Nice.
They're
Yeah.
coming out with a new one. The 5 is my mom pre-ordered it for my birthday. It's coming out
Really?
like December 1st, I think it gets shipped.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's a
really-
pod favorite. Nova Blast. Great choice.
Apparently they their biggest complaint was like longevity of the sole, like it lasting, and apparently they fixed that.
Yeah, they're holding up. I definitely feel like they've got maybe a month left, and then I'll have to get another pair, but that's okay.
Do you track miles on shoes, or do you just?
I don't, but I feel like I wear them down pretty quickly. I feel like every like 3 or 4 months, I'm like in a new shoe.
It's not too crazy.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Hyrox event of the 8?
Oof. They all really suck, but probably the lunges.
It's weighted too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weighted.
Psycho.
How many is it? Because like whenever I do weighted lunges, like literally my hamstrings lock up.
Yeah, they're terrible. I would say, I'm trying to think, because I think it's 50 meters. You're probably doing at least, I don't even know. It's a lot. I would say at least like close to 40. I don't even know if that's accurate or not, but it's a lot.
Are you allowed to drop weight and stop?
So you can stop, but you can't drop the.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So your traps are just like,
You're definitely you're toasted. That's for sure.
oh my gosh. Do you have a desire to do a 200-mile race?
Yes.
Which one?
I don't
Cocodona.
know, but I would love to one day get up to like the 200s. I don't think I need to do like 240, but would love to touch 200.
Girl, if you can do 50 miles in the Rocky Steps and say that it was easy, you can do 200.
Well, the fun part is I think like you can kind of like go about it however you please, obviously with the time limit, but like kind of flowing it however you want per day. You know, it's not like you have 24 hours and like you got to finish it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll see. Not yet, but one day.
I feel like you're too competitive. I feel like you're not going to be like, let's just go like for a walk, a hike. You're going to be like, nah, you're going to have a goal for sure.
Yeah. When the time comes. For
Yeah.
sure.
Squat or deadlift?
Squat.
Curls or skull crushers?
Curls.
Incline or decline bench?
Incline.
Last question. I ask everyone this question. Why do you run?
I feel like I said it earlier, but
You kind of did, yeah.
yeah. I think it's just like you can always progress and get better, and you can transition to however you want, whether you want to be faster or go the distance. And not only that, but you can easily do it every day. It's so easy to do, you know? So accessible. So I feel like that's why it's just fun to constantly like progress in it.
Yeah. And I love that running is like, you said it's so easy to do. We say that a lot, but it's got to be one of the only things, other than lifting, that you
Yeah.
can go do without a great excuse not to.
Exactly.
I mean, like, you can always wake up earlier, which sucks to lose sleep, but like, you can always do it earlier. You can do it in the dark. You know, you can do it on a treadmill if it's snowing. If there's 2 feet of snow, you're like, well, I can go on the treadmill.
Yeah.
You know, there's not like a lot of great excuses not to do it. We're like, you know, if you're into soccer or something or hockey, you need a team or baseball. Like, and that's also really hard to do as an adult. But,
No, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, and everyone probably calls us all crazy. Like, I get it all the time, but it's like, you can do it. Like, it's so, I mean, you can start however starting looks like for you, but it's possible, you know, and you can always like weave it into however in your day, you know?
yeah, people need to hear this too. Like, especially just starting running. I was running with my buddy Grant, who got me into running 3 years ago. And he like had some injuries and he had to like kind of stop running for about a year, and he got back into it, and that's like running's like his love. He loves doing it. So, and he was like, dude, it I forgot how much it sucks to get back in shape
Yeah.
compared to like when you're in shape. He's like, he's like, I understand why people quit when they start because it sucks. It had been like 10 years since he had gotten out of shape, and he's like, it is so incredibly hard. But then like you get to that point where you actually get in shape, and then it's like you can run 10 miles at 9-minute pace, and you're talking the whole time with your homies, and it's easy. And people are like, how did you just run 10 miles? Like, that is the
Yeah.
hardest thing I could ever do. Like, it's actually not. You need like 3 months, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's consistency.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people can't stay consistent. I think that's the one thing that I always tell people with running. I mean, anything health wise related, but running specifically, it's like you got to stay at it. Because if you don't, then that's where you'll never make the progress, you know?
True. I'm curious, 'cause Justin was telling us that his car got stolen in Philly. Is it safe to run in Philly early in the morning, like outside? Like if you were gonna like wake up tomorrow morning, like in the dark solo, go run in Philly, like would you like feel comfortable doing that or no?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I do it a lot. And I don't think it's necessarily safe, but to be honest with you, I've never had a problem at all. Early in the morning, at least. Like when we go out, I'll probably go out like 5 a.m. the earliest. But one morning, actually, which definitely is scary and not okay, there was blood all over the trail. And that was I know, yeah. I went to go to the water fountain and it was like, there was just blood everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, like someone obviously got stabbed or something right there. And I will say, like, I never listen to music that early in the morning because you just don't know who's behind you or who's near you at all. But for the most part, outside of that, I've definitely felt safe. But I also go like the same path that I always do, so I know like exactly what I'm
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
it's good to be like obviously certain neighborhoods are different and stuff too, so that's good to hear. That you
Yeah,
feel safe.
yeah,
Are you talking about the Schuylkill River Trail?
yeah. I usually run on the Schuylkill every morning.
Yeah.
But you just like you never know. A lot of people do like sleep out
Uh,
there. So in the morning
Yeah.
you'll see people like sleeping on the sidewalk or whatever. So you gotta obviously be super careful.
I do have a tip that you may or may not know about the Schuylkill. Like north of the museum, there's the Temple Row House on your left if you're running north.
Yes.
And if you need a bathroom, go in the back door. It's open. And the
Wait.
bathrooms are open.
Someone told me this, that there was this like bathroom behind one of the houses, and I never could figure out which one it was. So it's the Temple Row.
Temple Row House, yeah.
Wow.
Check it
Okay.
out. Good bathroom. Their water fountain was off though last time I was there, so that was a bummer. But
that's fair. Because every morning they don't open the bathrooms until like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
It's
okay.
too late.
That's a huge hack. Thank you.
All right, Jess, I want to know, 2024 is almost over. What are the goals, fitness goals? So running, Hyrox, whatever. What are the goals for 2025?
So goals are to definitely get a lot faster and stronger. I think I said before, I want to get competitive in Hyrox and take that speed into a Boston qualifying time. But then I really want to pivot into an ultra, and I want to be faster. So I want to be faster in the ultra than this past year. So I'm hoping like with the speed that'll translate over nicely into the distance, fingers crossed. But that's the goal. And I do think after more of these speedy races, I feel like in the next couple of years, I'll really just transition to ultras. Because I do feel like I like them a little bit better. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of where I'm leaning, to
And
be
you
honest.
like trail ultras, correct? Or because the one in Philly was on trails, right? Or was it road?
The one in Philly was trails. I've only ever done trails, to be honest with you. My buddy did the 100, the Florida Keys, and a lot of that's all on the road. And I'm like, there's no shot
that
I
one's
could
like,
do that.
I want to say it's in the summer too, isn't it? Or no? Yeah, and you just run on that highway like through the Keys.
Yeah, the entire time. I can't find doing that. I need to be on the trails, like somewhere kind of, cool. Like you're kind of obviously like exploring. Like I love that
that's
stuff.
the only way I would ever. And once I'm like, I don't know, maybe in like 10 years or so, I definitely want to get in the ultra scene. But yeah, I'd have to be trail.
Yeah.
Road ultra just sounds really awful. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sure you will definitely get into Boston. It's well worth the grind for sure.
Yeah.
It's I always say it's the Super Bowl of marathon running. So yeah, great.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Justin's goal too. So we're hoping 2026 is the year.
Are you any plans for like content? Like, are you changing anything up now going into next year? Like long form YouTube or anything? Any plans for content wise, or just sticking to what you normally do?
That's funny. That's funny you say that because I'm actually gonna try and start YouTube, and I don't really know too much of what I'm doing, but
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting into the YouTube world, hopefully, start of next year. But yeah, so that's the goal. I really I need to do more like digging into YouTube. I just like never like use YouTube that much, but everyone's saying like, yo, get on it. And then I'm obviously watching like BPN's videos and all the other athletes' videos. I'm like, damn, these are actually like really entertaining. They're really cool. So
yeah, I think
we'll
I don't know. YouTube is like, I think a place where you can get like that really like die hard audience where you like do more like long form stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen that with like Nick Bear, Floberg, those kind of guys where a lot of the BPM people, right? Like they have longer form stuff and you really get to know them. So I like them. I like that move. It's a good move.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna try and diversify.
I'm curious. Do you do like fitness and like content full time, or do you have another career?
So I work in finance
cool.
actually full time. So that's like my 9 to 5. And then I do fitness classes on the side. So right now I only coach group classes. I'm not an online coach, but I'm thinking about picking that up. Just time efficiency wise, I feel like that's probably like the better avenue for me right now because it's definitely a lot to balance everything that I'm balancing. I'm starting to like kind of really feel that. So yeah, it's a lot. But if I didn't have coaching, I don't think I'd feel as fulfilled.
Would you ever, because we like chat about this some. Obviously, our podcast isn't big enough for us to quit our jobs or anything, but like that would be like we would love to do that, right? Like we love doing this. We love making content, talking, meeting new people and stuff. And we coach some people too, which we enjoy. I'm curious, are you like really passionate about your career, or if you like were able to do fitness and content full time, would you like choose to do that if financially it worked out?
So I think that the latter, but I would say being in like the finance world and working for a larger company, like I do feel like I have that like business mindset that I love a lot. And I like really appreciate just like the constant push of it all, but I hate the subject matter. So when I think about like my future, I'm like, I don't know if it's necessarily like coaching full time, but it's like taking, like a fitness business, working with like, some sort of even like a shoe company, like Asics. I'm looking at the Asics website right now, but like, you know what I mean? Like something like that. And right now I do strategy, which I think is really interesting because it's very like high level at the top of a company looking down into everything. So it definitely like stretches you a lot. And I'm like, I have all this like knowledge. I don't just want to like throw it away. I just want to change like the subject matter of it all.
Well, we heard on our pod, Justin's looking into opening a gym, so maybe that's your venture together. TBD.
Talked about it. We've talked about it for sure. Yeah. When the time comes, like that would be like the best thing is, running the business behind it all and just doing, all
that'd be a super great combo with your finance background too. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Danny P, you want to ask the billboard question, bro, before we wrap it up?
I gotta ask the billboard question. Scotty gets like 20 questions, and they just give me one, so you can see.
All right, man.
Level of importance here.
This is gonna be a big one, though.
But I like to think that my question is like high quality. So even though maybe the question itself isn't high quality, but I think it brings out some high quality answers. So here goes. If you had a billboard that you put in Times Square, New York, or like, I don't know, center of Philadelphia, that is your message to the world, what are you putting on your billboard?
Okay, so it's actually, I like this one. So it would say uncommon on it and like just that. And that's like my special word. I actually have a tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, for me, I think that's been my biggest message over the last couple of years, and just like my biggest transformation is kind of just continuously going against the grain. That's kind of like the mantra I've always told myself, and just pursuing things that I actually want to do that makes me feel like me. And I feel like for the longest time, which I know a lot of people also feel the same way, is they get stuck in environments where maybe they, put themselves last and their wants last to fit in with everyone else. And so kind of just like a celebration to yourself of just like, if you want to do something, go do it, and if no one else is doing it, fine. If people could care less, fine. Like, go do it. Go do what makes you happy. And that's something that I definitely try to live by every day. So uncommon.
And I like that's your word, because you are saying, kind of flipping the bird to the status quo when you make that decision to go pursue what you want to pursue. Yeah. And that's being uncommon, right?
So love that. I can see just like a 100%. White like billboard with like in black, or no, I guess like a black background and then like in white, uncommon, period. That'd be cool. White. That's what I'm thinking. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Book it.
Awesome.
Book it. Times Square, here we come.
Anything else, Danny P? Before, Jess, where can people listening find you? We'll link it in the show notes, but just in case no one reads the show notes, which I work very hard on, where can people find you?
So right now, Instagram is my main spot, but it's J Leventry.
All right, it'll be in the show notes. If you don't know how to spell Leventry, it'll be in the show notes, so check it out. But Jess, thank you for your time. This was a lot of fun. We like you way more than Justin. Just joking. Love you, Justin. It's equal. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. It was great having you on. Thank you so much.
Agreed. Awesome combo. Thanks for coming on.
Yes,
No
really
problem.
appreciate
All
it,
right.
guys.
Episode 90, Jess Leventry. Make sure you follow her on Instagram and check out the show notes. We will catch you on episode 91. Peace.
Love you, mean it.